All right, so now we go into dislikes. So my dislikes are this: the plot holes. Man, are there plot holes. These people can't keep their bullshit straight at all. So here's just some examples. And it's not necessarily with Trek, but I mean, it's even their own plot holes within Star Trek Discovery. So, for example, the Spore Drive versus the Red Angel. In season 1, episode 3, you had Michael Burnham traveling in the Spore Chamber. You're like, here's the moons of Andor, here's Romulus, bam, and you're back like it never happened. And I was kind of hoping that's where they were going to go with season 2 to explain the continuity differences, and it could have been done very skillfully with this experimental ship. But not with these fucking writers. Not with these people. These people can't get it figured out. So, I mean, yeah, so you've already traveled in time using the Spore Drive. So, you've already established that this is an experimental ship with this weird, funky drive, and that it can travel through time. And we're shifting over to a totally different, inventing a totally different method of time travel to supposedly rectify continuity errors or give us a really amazing story about how this ship never existed or had to erase itself from history. But that never happens. Never happens. They just run out the clock and that's it. So, I mean, another example of the plot holes, the time crystals. So Pike's fate is sealed, but Burnham and Reno, fate not sealed, can change future. Like what? I mean, the retcon of the retconning of the retcon. Ridiculous. So, and even between episode 13 and 14, speaking of plot holes and time crystals, so you're saying that I can't even keep track of all the plot holes in this. I'm just giving you the ones that I'm thinking of. So you have they say that the time crystals could only hold a charge to take one trip into the future. But they suddenly realize that Michael Burnham has to go make the 5 signals. So now suddenly the time crystal has enough juice to make 5 jumps to make signals? Doesn't make any sense. So they could have had that be... You're dealing with time, all right? We don't have the time. There's not enough time. We need more time. So, just have her make the one jump into the future, and we already know that she's the one that does the signals. We don't need to see her doing them. Right. Oh, my God. Plot holes are so bad. They're so cringy. I mean, I'm getting a migraine just thinking about it. I mean, do they have anybody proofreading this stuff? Do they have an editor? I mean, what happened here? I can't even believe... I don't even... You see, I held... Small confession. So, I got the CBS All Access. I got the commercial-free version. And after episode 3, which was the worst episode... One of many worst. Up until this point, I canceled it. And they gave me a free month and then half off after that. So I stuck with it to hate watch it. And if a season 3 does come to pass, there's no way I'm paying for this fucking shit. No way. I'd rather watch Nerdrotic or Anti-Trekker or Doomcock than give these people my money, especially when they're so disrespectful to their fans. So that would definitely be in the dislike category. So another dislike is the character of Michael Burnham. I hate Michael Burnham. I hate her for a lot of reasons. Number one, she's a Mary Sue. There's nothing that justifies her abilities. I seriously thought they were going to make her God this season because that's how overpowered she is. The rules just don't apply to her. And they started to have something interesting with her in season 1 when she she made a horrible mistake. She started a war. They stripped her of rank. They locked her in that shuttle with those other people. And then Lorca, through his manipulations, wanted her for a totally different purpose. Thought she was a totally different person. And the other Burnham was this amazing war leader, and this Burnham was a fuck up. And I thought that's where they were going with it. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's interesting. But no, that's not where they went with it. So they make all these exceptions for her. Even though she started the war, they give her a rank back. And even though she was used by Mirror Evil Lorca, I would think that would have made her even more suspect when they got back from the Mirror Universe. But that's not what happened. These writers are idiots. And I also don't like Michael Burnham because of Sonequa Martin Green's line delivery. She always talks like this. Oh no. My dad's gonna come home and beat me with the belt and lock me in the closet. I better not talk loud. I don't want to make him mad when he's having a beer and watching TV. He might go on a bender and whip out his belt and whip me and lock me in the closet and not give me dinner. Like, that's the way she delivers all of her lines. Like, you're on at least a quasi-military vessel. So I imagine you have to speak with some authority. Imagine if you were to go in the military and you started whispering like this. You'd probably get, have people put soap in their socks and, have them beat the shit out of you. And I don't know. Then Michael Burnham would go off and kill all of her commanders. And then, full metal phaser. Then stick a phaser rifle under her chin. And then she'd fire it. And then she'd live because she's Michael Burnham. And then they would say, oh, Michael, we know that you killed your commanding officer and that you got beaten, but you got beaten with soap and we weren't being sensitive enough to you, so we're just going to go ahead and forgive your killing of the commanding officer. Like, that's what would happen. She's in Full Metal Jacket. She'd be able to just kill with impunity. You know she would. And, if she were one of the super soldiers in the TNG episode where they, that planet, had those super soldiers, and the one, he kept faking out data. He's like, he left the star drive section, but he's there. Like, instead of trying to send her back to the penal colony, they'd just let her off the hook. There wouldn't be an episode. She would be the greatest. And I think another issue with Michael Burnham here, and it's been said by many, but she just sucks all of the oxygen out of the room for the other characters. And that would be fine if she were interesting, but she's not. She sucks. She's a spoiled little rich girl whose daddy got her into Starfleet and got her onto a ship with the captain he wanted to get her in with and under. And that's boring. Think back to The Next Generation, Tasha Yar from a failed colony. That's interesting. Mr. Data, origin unknown in the beginning, then discovers origin and has to explore the meaning of that origin. That's interesting. Will Riker. Mother's dead, raised by a single father. Single father's a prick. Doesn't talk to him for years and years on end. They get into an Ambujitsu match. That's interesting. Ensign Ro Laren comes from an oppressed people. Doesn't like rules and regulations. That's interesting. She has divided loyalties. That's interesting. Captain Picard. Lost a ship, got his best friend killed on an away mission. Has feelings for that friend's wife, that friend's widow. Got court-martialed. Eventually got a new ship. That's interesting. Being the best at everything, all the time, and having your daddy get you onto the ship that he wanted you to be on, that's not interesting. Another thing I dislike about is again, just the lack of the character development for the other characters. I mean, we did get a nugget of something. I was like, yes, okay. I'm learning more about these characters. The episode where Ariam died. Oh, I know more about Ariam. She was in a shuttle accident. She had to get augments. She lost her fiance. That's interesting. Oh, okay. A Woshikin can go on the away mission to New Eden because her parents are Luddites, so she might understand these people more. That's interesting. Like, even Vok Tyler's backstory was not interesting. It wasn't as interesting as the nuggets we got. Reese, he knows karate, which I'm kind of surprised that they let the Asian dude do martial arts, since they're trying to avoid stereotypes, but that's all I know about that character. I mean, fire that, and he's not quick reflexes on firing the photon torpedoes. At least not in season 1. Lorca got really upset with him. So I just liked in season 1 the arc that they established. I thought it felt too rushed. I did not like that. And in season 2 they dragged that arc out way too long. And I didn't like what they did with Lorca's arc. They should have backed up whatever truckload of money they needed to keep Jason Isaacs on, because that dude stole the show. And if that truckload of money had to come out of Sonequa Martin Green's pocket, thanks so much, Michael Burnham. Make her go out like a hero. And the final thing that I can think of that I wrote down as to why I don't like Star Trek Discovery is that it just doesn't feel like Trek to me. It doesn't inspire me. It doesn't make me want to be a better person. It just makes me think that these people are assholes. And they're not interesting assholes. They're boring assholes. And in my day job, I have to deal with boring assholes all the time. I don't want to tune into the TV to listen to boring assholes that are full of themselves. Anytime I have to go to like a sales thing or a convention with a lot of my peers, my colleagues in my industry, I want to run and hide in a corner and cry. I need to run away. I need to get out of there. I'm either going to run in a corner or cry, or I'm going to go postal and kill everyone. Figuratively speaking. Don't call the cops on me. And so to tune in to shallow idiots that are full of themselves is not fun.